We brought up the secondary, and David Greenshield says last year's secondary is right there with 1998 and 2016 is the best secondary I have seen at Ohio State. Kevin, what do you think?
I would like to have seen Damon Arnett have both hands for most of, or both arms. I think that it was it was a really good secondary, but 98 was pretty fantastic too. I mean, maybe the fact that I look back there, and I was working for one of the local TV stations at the time, and had the opportunity. I was a lot closer to the age of those guys as well, but I think you're going to look back at the Jeff Okudas and Sean Wade and Damon Arnett and Jordan Fuller. I mean, God, what Jordan Fuller's been able to do with the LA Rams at this point. I mean, he's really proven a lot of doubters wrong. And I know that there's an article about him out there in The Athletic I haven't had a chance to read yet today, but that the 19 secondary is really good, but you go back and you look at that 98 one, and maybe looking at 19 and saying that is a little bit of a recency bias, but I have a hard time getting away from that 98 one.
I'm just looking at the 98 because you had Damon Moore, Nate Clements was a young guy. Any secondary with Antoine Winfield in it, I like a lot. There's a lot of good guys there, but that 2016 secondary did stuff that has never been done at Ohio State. Maybe that's just because of Malik Hooker, but they had the rotating of the three corners who are all first rounders eventually, I believe, and Damon Webb is the weak link, and he was perfectly fine as that strong safety, but I don't have fault with last year's either. There's the only issue was maybe the system kind of broke down at the end of the year when they were losing guys, and that's more of a product of the depth than anything else. I can't. You got what, three first round corners in last year's defense as well. When you throw Sean Wade in there, and Jordan Fuller was the perfect guy for that role. I would have liked to have seen what Malik Hooker could have done in that system. I think he would have made more plays. I guess I can't go wrong with any of those three. It's a pretty good comparison. I don't know that I have a pecking order. I think maybe the 98 defense gets better the further away we are from it, because you look at that front and it's like it's not great, the defensive tackles anyway, and I don't know if the linebackers are super great. It was still the best team in the country. We all know that. But yeah, I might put 98 third, and Antoine Winfield is like my all-time favorite Buckeye ever, which I don't like this topic.
Yeah, they've had some great secondaries through the years. When they won the national championship, you had Von Bell out there at safety. He was an All-American. I don't know if he was exactly a first-team All-American or not, but he was up there. What was it? Eli Apple was one corner. The other one is escaping my memory.
Dorian Grant.
Tyvis Powell was a safety. Kind of hit or miss in the NFL with those guys, but the guys that followed them, pretty much all in the NFL. So yeah, they've had some great secondaries really over the last, go back to about 94, 95, 25 years of great secondaries. Before that, it was not a position of great strength, either the corners or the safeties for Ohio State, probably going back to the William White days in the mid 80s. It was not a big position for them those 10 years there in the interim with Cooper and the final years of Earl Bruce. They were playing guys that would be walk-ons on the team today, in my opinion. So, including one who's not so successful as the Nebraska head coach or the LSU defensive coordinator right now, but I digress. How about the All-American defensive end from the mid-'90s who can't follow the Corona COVID protocols down in Nashville right now? I had several people who know his abrasive way texted me and said, "What a surprise!" So, yeah.
When John Cooper stepped on campus, evaluated the team, and made a disparaging comment about the lack of talent and his surprise, number 46 was one of the first people that came to mind in regards to watching him try to chase down pretty fleet receivers at places like Michigan. William White came to mind, and I went back a few years before that because anytime I get a comment like this, I'm doing my best to scan the years and trip them up with some other team. But David did very well there, and he calls us on a regular basis, and he's buttoned up on Ohio State and the nation, so he knows his stuff. Todd Bell and Sean Gale were together in the same secondary that were on Earl Bruce's first team that, of course, took them to the Rose Bowl and on the brink of a national championship.
Do you know, it's strange, we didn't have social media back then in the late 80s. Early 90s, but I was a student on about those times, and in our private chat, one of the players was just referred to by his nickname Toast, and everybody knew the nickname, but we didn't have social media to spread it back then. So how that happened, I don't know. I think everybody watched him play and just said, "Oh, that's Toast." So,
if the shoe fits,
if the shoe fits, if the horseshoe fits, wear it.